Thunder, thunder, Thundercats. Ho! All right, welcome back, everyone. We are looking at another Thundercats figure. This is the Lionel figure 1/10 scale from Iron Studios, even though this has a SideShow sticker on it. So just want to again look at the packaging. This was shipped by UPS, I believe. UPS ground. As we can see, there's no damage. UPS did a really good job of shipping this. We see the tape that I like. And this tape has the SideShow logo and name on it. Because I guess SideShow wants you to know it's sent from them. So you know immediately. So we would get right to opening it. What I found interesting though is that another item I shipped from SideShow did not have this tape on it. The Iron Studios, the big boxes, that didn't have that tape. So I'm curious about the choice to use the tape on this particular package when I haven't seen it yet so far in other packages. So that's an interesting choice. If anyone knows how SideShow decides what to use their tape on, let me know. I'll be happy to be privy to that information. So we're just going to go ahead and open, and again, just slide our little scissors in there. Our friend Mr. Scissors, really handy dandy. Handy dandy. So inside, this is interesting. So unlike the, sorry, I'm put my address on here. Unlike the shipment box that we saw from Iron Studios, this doesn't have the plastic. This has a paper, which if some of you have seen some of my other videos on Instagram, Blue Scorpion Death on Instagram, I'm not really a fan of the paper. You know, this is a lot of paper because I feel like the paper still puts pressure. But I guess the nice thing is they didn't want this to be bobbing around, and the paper is less annoying to take out than the plastic. So for that reason, excuse me, they wrapped around, the paper is wrapped around. Again, my only downside to the paper is I find it doesn't prevent the item from getting damaged. But it looks like SideShow did a really good job of using the paper on this. So maybe they can give some tips to Amazon on how to package with paper appropriately, because when Amazon does paper, it does not look very good. They sent me a nice little card. It says happy holidays from your friends at SideShow. Thank you so much, SideShow. Really appreciate that. That's a nice little touch. And it's got the SideShow logo on the back. Thank you so much, SideShow. It's SideShow. Anyone know that's my favorite phase. Whenever I watch their programs, I always say it's, and whichever personality is on doing the show. So in their most recent show, I don't know who had the idea, but they all put "it's" before their name. I said they must have got tired of me saying "it's Paul, it's Autumn, it's Lino." Okay, so we're gonna slide this out of the box, or attempt to. I guess the best way to do that is to take this paper out. Really a lot of paper. What am I gonna do with all that paper? Recycle it, I guess, right? That's the idea, but unfortunately recycling today is not like it used to be. Okay, so the only annoying thing about this is I hate when boxes are difficult to take out, but we're gonna do my little sliding process. Just reach in and grab it. Sometimes you just gotta sometimes you just have to reach in and touch someone. Let's see. The box feels like it's stuck. Is it just, am I just slow and I don't know how to take this out? Okay, we'll just lean it forward. Okay, that was a little more difficult than it needed to be. All right, so here we have, I love the color of the box. Immediately, Lionel stands out on that box. He looks fierce. He looks ready for battle. He's got his trademark claw, which, to be honest, as a fan of the show, is this, well, it says Thundercats Classic, so I don't know. But why is his claw so dark? That's not usual, the color. Now, what's cool about this is he's on a base of, you know, the cat from, I think that's from the lair, the Thundercats lair, right? And if you have seen the show before, you know, their lair has his head at the top of it. Lionel has his trademark sword, and he's got the lightning coming out because that's what happens in the show. And I love that this figure includes Snarf, because we know that Snarf is sort of Lionel's best friend. Lionel doesn't really go anywhere without Snarf in the cartoon, and if he does, it usually means something bad is going to happen. Lionel did have the tendency to wander off on his own because he's an inquisitive person, very curious, especially when he was youth. Remember, Lionel begins the series as a child, so that's why he has Snarf to kind of protect him, because Snarf is sort of his guardian. And that's the box. We'll leave it right there because I like the box. The box looks really cool. I love the box. Really good box. Yeah. Okay, impressed. Iron Studios does a lovely job with their boxes. Now we got this tape. The tape I don't like. Wish they would have used that other tape in here. So we're just going to slide a scissor in there. Again, if you have a box cutter, maybe easier to get in there, but we're just going to pop that, slide it down. Oh, interesting. This doesn't go all the way down. It kind of, that's weird. I'm not going around pulling all this tape off. That would be insanity. I could, but I don't want to. Okay, and it goes all the way down on this side. So that this says top on it, so that's cool. You know which way to take it off. You don't want to take the package off upside down and then everything falls out, because that wouldn't be cool. So thank you, Iron Studios, for indicating where the top of the box is. Again, if you've seen my X-Men vs. Sentinel video, you're familiar with how Iron Studios boxes their stuff. The foam they put things in is usually very dense. This is great. You can see there's no damage to the foam. I think when I received the X-Men vs. Sentinel, there was a bit of damage to the foam, but the figure wasn't damaged, and that's what really mattered most. So we're just gonna pop that open. And inside, again, see how dense that is? So that really goes in there to get this figure, keep it protected, right? And the parts that aren't covering anything, it's very thick. See how thick that is? That's about a good, at least good 4 or 5 inches maybe. Okay, so if there's any impact to this, this box is gonna absorb all of that. We have these little packets in there to absorb moisture. The silicone gel, right, to absorb any moisture that may build up, because when these things are sitting in a factory, heat changes can cause moisture to build up, and you don't want that happening on your figure. And this is what it looks like. See, this is sort of upside down. So I guess what we'll do first is we'll take the base out. And I'm just going to use this box because it looks so cool. I'm gonna lie that down right there so you guys can see that, right? We know that we're talking. Oh, you guys can't see that. So we'll put this on top. Boom! How about that, huh? That's what we're talking about. We're just gonna pop this base right on top. Okay, we take it out. We see that it is not. I might have shaken it out upside down. Which way is the bottom? I can't really tell. So, but that's how it was in the package, like that. So we see it's kind of sitting in there. It's got some indentation, right? Take the paper off. Lovely tissue paper, and boom, there it is. That lovely Thundercat layer head. That is beautiful. Oh my god. Oh my god. I wish you guys could see this in real life. This is amazing. This alone is amazing. That is phenomenal. A little dirty there. It looks like that could use a little wipe. So that's something that would be nice. Iron Studios, if you guys will wipe your stuff off before you put it on this paper, because I don't know, the purpose of this paper is to prevent any kind of dust or dirt getting on there. So that would mean there shouldn't be any on there when it goes in. So just take a little extra step to wipe the stuff off. I'm going to get my little wiping cloth here because, you know, nobody wants to look at a dirty item. Just be careful because this cloth, I noticed on another statue, some color came off. And I don't know if the cloth wiped the color off or what have you. I would even use, if you get one of those tubes that is used in photography to get dust off, you can just use that to blow around, get any extraneous stuff off, but just give it a little feather duster or something just to knock loose any extraneous dirt. But keep in mind, this is supposed to have a weathered look, and it does. We know Iron Studios is really good about making things look weathered. We have the trademark Iron Studios rusting on the side there. That I have to be honest, I find kind of annoying because it sort of becomes that if you've seen it once, you've seen it all type deal. What's interesting here is this piece of detail with the sort of weathered foliage here, maybe some kind of like moss or something growing on the head. So it gives the impression that this thing has really been there for a while, so long that we have stuff growing on it. What's happening there, right? Let's see if I can shine the light on it a little better. So you guys can see. Does that make a difference? I don't think so. Might help if I go a little closer, huh? Let's bring that closer. Yeah, let's really get up on that bad boy. Now you can really see that green. It looks like he's crying green tears and they're sliding down his face. Curious about the decision to have it tilted like that. But you know, that is really cool. I love this. Then we have on the back the rock formation, which is interesting because it's like, well, where's the back of his head? Well, it fell down and it cracked and it smashed onto this rock. So that rock formation also gives more impression that this thing has been here for a while and is damaged. Because some of the air on this side is whole, but on the other side is cracked and is damaged. So, you know, very unfortunate for the layer. The teeth, oh my God, very sharp, right? I'm not a huge cat person. I'm a cat person and I'm not. It's really weird. Like, I have to think about like cat formation and imagery, but actual cats, depends on the cat, I guess. My grandmother used to have a really cool black cat that was fierce. She would catch mice like no other. She did not play around. But, you know. So, this is Lionel, right? Again, nicely wrapped in this lovely tissue paper, which is a lot thinner than a tissue paper they use on their bigger statues. there he is. Now immediately my attention is drawn to the boots. There's a very specific reason for that. So we know this company is based in Brazil, and if anyone knows anything about footwear, Brazilian boots are some of the best designed boots you can get. They're usually very sturdy, very durable, and usually have a nice look to them. And we can see this is a nice solid boot. The formation in the front is nice and thick. It's got a good toe box, right? I'm over here analyzing the shoes, but this is for the shoe people. No texture on the bottom. Would have been nice to have some texture on the bottom, because dude is going to be slipping and sliding if he's trying to run through the woods in these things. You know what I'm saying? So that's sort of a miss for me. I have seen on their Juggernaut statue, for example, they do have some texture on the bottom of the boot. But I think this is a weird choice to not have any texture for such a solid looking boot. You know what I'm saying? But I love the formation up here. There's sort of the shin guard there. And then we have his nice musculature in the legs, right? We got that vastus medialis, vastus lateralis. We got that rectus femoris for our anatomy enthusiasts out there. Good looking patella. Right, nice muscles coming down the calf. These hamstrings are very taut. Well, you can even make out the hamstrings, right? We got our semitendinosus, semimembranosus, and our bicep femoris. Right, and that's a little technical for some people. Like, huh? What? Nice detail on the elbow there. He's got a hairy elbow. What's going on with that? And then the claw. I thought it's an interesting choice to make the claw that color, because we know on the TV show the claw is sort of like a tan color. It is darker than he is, but it's interesting to have that claw. What's also weird, maybe they didn't notice this, but this claw only has 3 fingers and a thumb, but his hand has 4 fingers and a thumb. So also another weird thing, like what's going on with that? Why is there a finger missing? I do think the claw does have 3 fingers usually, from what I remember. But I don't know. I feel like that needed. And the claw, I think needs to be a little bigger. Like the box, I feel like it really stands out on his hand here. Doesn't really stand out as well. Like if I compare him to the claw on this figure here, let me see, the other Lionel isn't wearing a claw, but this claw does have 3 fingers and a thumb, and he's got 4 fingers. Again, that's a really interesting choice. Right, but this claw on this figure, the red parts stand out a little more. Then our Minico Lionel, I don't think he's even wearing a claw. No, he is wearing a claw. Yeah. Now, what's interesting is comparing this Lionel to the other Lionel. You know, this is the same company, but there's some stark differences. Like the coloring on his hand is very noticeable on the figure up here. You know, that shading on how his forearms are a little different color to his hand than the rest of his arm. It's interesting to not see that so much on this figure. It doesn't stand out as much, but it stands out very prominently on the Minico figure up there, which you guys probably can't see in the video. But this is Lionel. This is him. Get a look at his portrait there. Sort of a very scary look, like he's, you know, he's had it. He's not playing any games. He's bringing all the ferocity in his whole being, because this is you know, real stuff going on. It's very serious. It's severe even. You know, his lair is destroyed. Imagine if someone destroyed your home. How would you feel? You know, you wouldn't be all hunky-dory about it. You'd be pretty pissed. So now I'm noticing there is no pamphlet to put this in to give some idea of how to put this together. You just got to figure it out on your own. So we will just have to look at the box and figure it out, I guess. is what they're telling me. Figure it out. So, good thing we have the box here. I can look at it. So I see there's a hole here, a hole here, and a hole here. There's 3 holes. I'm presuming that this is facing forward like this. This will go back here and this will go up here somewhere. Yeah, there's sort of a magnet on this part of in his foot, I guess. And then he's sort of sitting up there. Does it go inside? I don't think it goes inside though. That's weird. Does he just kind of sit up there like that? I think that has to... Okay, it does go down. Okay, cool. Wasn't sure for a second. I didn't want to force it in. Okay, what's cool here, I just noticed there's sort of toe prints here for Snarf, so you know exactly where to put them. I love the cool effect, the realism of that. You know, he stepped on this thing so hard, he left a toe print. I guess they had to also make sure that his foot goes down in there. So, we're going to take Snarf out of here. Snarfy, Snarf, Snarf. Oh, Snarf can't take anymore. So again, not a huge fan of how the Snarf looks. Again, I'm a big fan of Snarf. But the coloring, the orange, is not very accurate to Snarf, I feel like. And it kind of made a similar error on the other Snarf they designed for the Minico company. But Snarf is a little oranger than this. You know, I could be wrong. Am I wrong, people? Is that color? Now, on the camera, he does look a lot oranger. That's interesting. The camera is picking up sort of the orange-ish look nicely. But I'm used to seeing just a slight bit more orangey orange to him. You know what I'm saying? Like the fur on the back and the texture of it, the hair. Though I think they could have made the hair a little thicker, made it a little more like how his hair stands out here. Love the beard. Right? The ears, lovely. The eyes, you can even see his little teeth. Wow, they really put a lot of effort into this, building those teeth. The eyes, they're sort of looking off to the side, but he has that worried look on his face, like he's not sure what's going to happen. Bring him up close so you can see him. Hey, look, that's funny though, on the picture, he looks like a little kitty. A little kitty standing on his legs, I guess. Right? So here, kitty. Put him like that so I can hold him without him falling. See that? I feel like one of those hand models. You know, they hold the stuff and they move their fingers around and it's like, look at this product, but look at my fingers. Anyhow, we're just going to sit him right, I guess he's sort of below Lionel, right? That foot goes in there. Maybe you should put him on first, huh? You think so? I recommend putting him on first because this sort of goes into the weird angle. I can't really make out exactly how it goes in there from this angle, so we're going to have to take Lionel off first and then put Snarf on. Snarfy, Snarfy, Snarf. Okay, and the feet don't quite go into the crevices like I thought. I guess they're just there to give you an idea that that's where Snarf goes. So I think that could have been a little better. It could have sank down a little more. Maybe the angle is off. Oh. Yeah. That's it. That's Snarf on there. Kind of see Snarf by himself, how he looks. Right? Looks really cool. There he is on there. Looks like he's ready to jump off from that angle, huh? That's a cool angle. He's ready to get at it. Okay, we're just gonna back this up a little more so you can see everything. Again, we're looking at the Thundercats Classic, Lionel, and Snarf. Okay, so now we're gonna pop Lionel back on there. You're probably wondering why is he on there without a sword? Well, that's just how I did it. So, this is tricky to do with the Snarf in the way. Okay, there's the hole. There it is. Okay. Kind of rocks back and forth. That's weird. Oh, it's not in the other way. Oh, he's there. His foot all the way down. Okay, now it is. Okay, yeah, I don't want all that rocking around. That's kind of weird. And last but not least, certainly. Excuse me. His sword is wrapped up in his paper. I saw they did the same thing with Gambit's staff. This sort of wrapped. However, his was wrapped in plastic. So interesting choice to not have this wrapped in plastic. It's just wrapped in this paper. Actually, nothing in this box is wrapped in plastic. That's also an interesting choice. Don't know if that is just they're doing. But okay, this sword, not as cool as Gambit's staff. I wish they had made the sword more like Gambit's staff. If you guys saw that review, the staff was very... I accidentally dropped it on the floor and it did damage to the floor because that's how hard it was. This could have been a little better. Being that it's a weapon, they should have did it like Gambit's staff where they had it like that hard metal. This looks like a very cheesy sword. Really, yeah, that really puts a damper on this whole thing. Even on the back, see that's not really clean there, that design there. So that's just something to point out to people. If you're particular about your craftsmanship, this sword, as you can see, could have been a lot better. See how this sort of like that blemish right there? The paint job is really sloppy in the middle there. Not very clean. This feels like a cheap little piece of plastic. You even see it's like a little bendable almost. That's not cool. For a weapon, no, it should be really sturdy. I mean, I guess the upside is if this accidentally falls, it's not going to crack. But as I mentioned, I accidentally dropped Gambit's staff on the floor, and it even put a small dent in my floor. So that staff is durable. And it made me feel like, man, if this statue came to life, it would do some damage. This here, however, this feels like a cheap sword that a kid would make at home for a Halloween costume or something. And given that there's only one way to display this sword, I mean, I'm not going to have that facing out. That doesn't look very good. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even sure if you guys can see that so well. Again, I'll hold it up close to the camera so you can see the difference of what I'm talking about. Even in here, you can see like this isn't very clean. So just, this just needs a little bit more attention to detail. You can also see how the sword's kind of bent. If I line it up with that sword's got a little bending to it. See that? Got a little bend to it. It's not really completely flat. So that's a bummer, but it is what it is. They put a lot of care into the base, so I'll give them that much. But again, got the bottom of his sword here. So this just goes in his hand. This is not the whole sword. And that just goes down in there like that. And boom, there you have it. That's his whole sword. We'll back this up so you can see it. So I realize this is close. Actually, we'll just move on in. I'm a fan of giving a 360. Oh, all right, so let's move closer to the figure. right? There he is with his sword. Ho! Thundercats, ho! Would have been cool. They should have had a little more gloss on that red part. That should have stood out a little more. I would have made him more pearly like they did the eyes on the Thundercat layer head. I would have used that kind of red on the sword so it stands out a little better, because that is sort of flat. Or even like, what's on his belt. That stands out nicely. But again, I think for the sword, it's supposed to have the eye of Thundera on it. I just think that needs to be a little different. Snarf again. They're looking fearful. I'm trying to get the. Well, there he is. Focus on his eyes. Look at that. Interesting choice to. Okay, I guess they're both looking in the same direction. Interesting. This head, though, this head is, I think, the real. Unfortunately, the head is a real winner of this figure, and it shouldn't be. I mean, in my opinion, the real winner of this figure should be the sword, because that is the most important piece in this figure, aside from Lionel, because the sword is what's going to keep him safe. I'll just give that a little bit of a turn for you guys. So he's got those teeth really glaring out. The hair. And we'll just look at this from a different angle. Right? Let's look at it from the back. What's it look like from behind? Probably something you rarely get to see in a figure, right? Let's see the behind. Oh yeah, he looks fierce. That stance, very powerful. Right? See the back muscles, that claw, that sword to really strike fear into everyone's hearts. Like, this sword is really what's gonna get you guys, right? But imagine this is the Thundercat's ho, where he holds the sword out and gives that Thundercat symbol. It would have been really cool if they had added that to this figure or some figure where you can see the Thundercat symbol shooting out. That, I think, would get a lot of attention. Let me see from this angle, from the side. From the other side, where it looks like it's on that angle where you can see him looking like he's about to leap off of that rock. And again, let's just get the focus here. That huge sword really stands out. Again, my only concern is the flimsiness of that sword. Is that going to hold up over time? What's going to happen with that? And my apologies for that shadow in the background. That's from the figure casting a shadow from the light. I'll just put another light on momentarily so we can get a different look at this. See how it looks with this other light on. Yeah, still has that shadow there. But I like it on a low light because you get that really spooky effect. Okay. That is the Iron Studios Lionel and Snarf. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you think of the figure. Is this something you would get and add to your collection? Are you a Lionel fan? Thundercat fan? There's his friends up here. Again, the Minico set that I had shown earlier in their box so they can stay in mint condition. And I gotta be honest, looking at them on a shelf like this, they look so fierce. Except for Shitara. I'm a little disappointed that they made Shitara look so friendly, whereas the guys all look like they're ready for battle. I mean, wouldn't she be upset also? So I do have a Shitara statue from SideShow that I'm going to be previewing, and please look out for that video. Thank you so much. We'll just pan out so you can see the whole box. There he is.